There, I'll start the recording. All right, Connor, welcome back. And Level Up Token. It's a pleasure to be back here again talking about this wonderful project. Also, we have on the call Justin from your team as well as Hunter. So I want to welcome you gentlemen here as well today, along with our team at the Angels. So this is a follow-up AMA, really highlighting where Level Up Project has came, where it's going, and as an official pick of the DeFi Angels, we wanted to give a presentation to everyone out there wondering, what is Level Up Token? What is it about? So first and foremost, this, general format, Justin, Connor, Hunter, I would just like to really start it off, learning a little more about, yourselves, what you've done in the past, what brought you to crypto, right? And, how this is tied in to Level Up and it's created it. And then from there, let's maybe talk about the project. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure as always, and we are super excited to be an official pick of the Angels. My name is Connor. I go by Small Gains on the Telegram. Our team, we actually just started going by the handle as the Defiant Group. We came together over the past, I'd say, since December, but we've known each other before then. But we really started getting serious as a team in the crypto space probably since December, January. Started off by us all meeting, well, not all of us, but the majority of us meeting through actually buying and selling and trading Pokemon cards in the Pokemon world and community. A lot of us either run groups over there for buying and trading, or we are avid collectors. I know, me personally, I met Justin over there. Hunter was added into us from there, but I didn't know him until the crypto groups. John, I met him over there. He actually runs one of the groups that I am a part of. I'm one of his moderators. So we're all pretty tight knit. Some of us were added down the road through the crypto space, and we've all just come together like as a whole. Pretty much started with me one day reaching out to Justin and saying, hey, I saw you had some success with Shiba coins like that. Could you lend me some insight and help me get things started? So he did. And ever since then, we've just progressively expanded our visions. We started off with a little, messenger group on Facebook with 6 of us. And we progressively started, adding people and getting bigger. And as we got better at trading and seeing what everything was going on in the crypto space, we started applying our tactics in the real world, business-wise. John's a realtor. Justin is a financial advisor. I own a construction company, so I do a lot of sales and business-wise that way. We have guys in our group that have multiple businesses, large-scale construction companies, sell foreign cars, pretty much do crazy stuff. Like one guy, he sells pallets of ammunition. Like he's into everything. Some of us do sales, website sales through Pokemon. We have a lot of business background. So with that being said, we started creating almost a business type landscape off of this platform that we built, and kind of got together and started making a business move and making a kind of a team wallet, and we started trading with that team wallet, building trust between a group of us, and it started going very, very well. Obviously we had bumps in the roads. It's the crypto space. Not everything was a win, but that's kind of what solidified us as business partners, was the fact that we were able to go through hardships, crashes. One of the big losses, we lost a substantial amount of money in MXS, which is, Matrix Samurai, which I'm sure a lot of people have. And we were able to stick it out through that. And, we all kind of laughed it off, and we just kind of dug down deep and kept pushing forward. And that's when we started getting into, the thoughts of creating a coin that, or creating, our own type of coins, so that way we could launch, have success. We were tired of being rugged. We know everyone else was tired of being rugged. So we decided to take our hand at, developing our thoughts into coins. Okay, we studied the space. We saw what was working and what was not working, and so we decided, okay, we're going to launch a coin, and we're going to use FTP. Now, at the time, Ether rewards it's still to this time, Ether rewards, which for anyone who doesn't know, is the percent of tax that goes out. There's a percent set aside that you can get back directly in Ethereum, that you go onto a website or a D app and you can retrieve that. FTP was the only people on the market that actually had this. So naturally, we're like, okay, Ether rewards is the big thing right now. We're going to push this project over there, and we're going to have it launched within a week. Okay. Well, FTP was so backed up at the time, they told us 2 weeks. So I said, okay. So we built up the coin. We had it together. We had this level up idea, and 2 weeks go by, and they said, oh, you're going to have to give us 2 more weeks. We're busy. And we said, okay. So another week goes by, and we still didn't hear any update. So we were like, okay, well, what's going on? Then they said, oh, it's going to be another 2 weeks on top of what we just told you. So at this point, we said, okay, this isn't going to work out, obviously. We're way over our launch date. We're, I think, a week and a half over at this point from our initial launch date in August, which was August 6th, that we were supposed to have this thing already out. At this point in time, we are like, well, we see the problems in the market. We see what's going on. We see what's needed. We need there needs to be another launchpad with Ethereum rewards, So we went out and we actually found some developers that, some of us knew in our group personally. They had contact with these developers. And we reached out to them, and we pretty much gave them a bullet list, and we're like, hey, we want this. Like, we want to make a launch pad essentially out of Level Up and push it so that way we can build our own platform and we don't have to wait for anybody. And then at that point in time, other people can also launch off of our launch pad, and we're taking some of the stress off of the market that's out there. It's stranglehold through FTP right now. And just in the last week alone, we've seen the fault that causes, by having such high volume and such demand for this type of product, that it's starting to slip through the cracks a little bit with them. Certain contracts and certain developers who don't have the same vision as FTP would have liked. So we're gonna go ahead, and we had this platform built, and since then, we've actually gotten to a spot where now our it's actually built. It's come to fruition, and our developers did extremely well. In the meantime, with us waiting for it, though, we did launch another coin, to try to test out as a community. We launched ETH2 just in the meantime. That gave us a good foothold on building a community, and trying for devs and strengths and weaknesses in our own business on what we could and couldn't do. And it was a very, very, very strong learning lesson. And also at the same time, it allowed us to have a lot of faith in our developers, because there was actually a kind of a test for them and their contract writing, and they did extremely well. And so that's essentially the outline of where we started and where we brought to this day.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback off of what Connor was saying is like we had a vision of what we wanted to do. We went to FTP, and just like everybody else who wanted to do an FTP project, it kind of got delayed to a point where you're going to then be not the first to market. You might be the second or third to market. And we said, well, there's a lot of smart guys out here that can develop this stuff. And again, we're not coders per se. Like most of us we're business owners. And we said, there's a lot of smart guys that can do exactly what FTP is doing. Like, why don't we just recreate what they're doing? And if other people want to use our platform, great. And we're going to do it for a cheaper cost. And we're also going to build in other safeguards that are going to make it so that our platform is going to be better. So we're going to do it cheaper than FTP. FTP charges you like 1%. We're going to charge 0.75 for any other coins that are going to come on our platform. But we're strategically building partnerships where we're going to bring in, if any other coin wants to be on our platform, well, we want to vet these programs. I mean, personally, I just got involved in an FTP program that just rugged us a couple days ago. I was in Digital Cash. A couple buddies brought me into their Telegram and said, "Hey, I'm one of the like biggest wallets in this. Like this guy has no idea how to market his program. Come in here." And I said, "All right, well, let me look at this coin." Met with the developer, and he said, "I have a POS system that I'm developing. It's going to be this great thing." And I said, "Well, cool. Like that sounds like a great business idea. I think I can get behind that." And I said, "You know what? I have a guy that has a POS system already built in. Let's do that. What do you need help with?" He's like, "Oh, I need a website. I don't know how to do a website." And I'm like, "All right, well, my team can build you a website in 2 days. Like, let's go. Like, let's do it." And then literally the next day, I think you were one of the first people that reached out to me, and I was like, "Oh my God, I got to look into this." I woke up and I'm at an Oktoberfest event with some friends, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like FTP's own, like I thought like any FTP coin had some sort of vetting system behind it, and instead the developer used my name, skyrocketed their program the next day, and then he just bought a big bunch and just sold it off. And there was like 3 rugs in like that day, like in that span. I think Taylor, I think you were in one of them too. I don't even know the name of it, but like FTP's name has just, it's not that strong. They don't do anything that all they care about is the volume transactions. Like, hey, you want an ETH reward coin? We're going to write you a contract. Like, use our program, use our, use our name, and that's it. And we started to see that. We're like, listen, like we come from a world where, again, the Pokemon world where there's lots of scams and everything. And we got into the crypto world where there's, again, lots of scams. And we want to do something that's going to protect people from that. So we're partnering with Safe Solidity. We're looking for groups that are going to do AMAs for us. We're looking for groups that are going to vet our projects, because we don't want everybody. We care less about quantity and more about quality. And so again, we don't care about how many projects just want to launch a coin and do ETH rewards. This is about protecting the community as much as possible.
And very well said by you, Justin, and Connor. Thank you both. I personally couldn't agree more. In the current marketplace with FTP, the things that have been happening, we've seen, sitting on the sidelines, and also, investing into their projects. I don't really, want to disparage FTP, but at the same time, there does need to be a change. So, seeing this, platform coming to fruition, and really, understanding the need of it in the marketplace, I think it's phenomenal, right? Because I always talk about, people that are first to market, which is FTP, with a platform like this, and really, they could be considered the innovators, right? But in my experience in early stage ventures, the imitators, the imitations of these companies that come out not too long after, but, check boxes that the innovators didn't check or, are experiencing really elevates those companies to the next level, I've noticed. So, I'm always watch these early stage ventures this way, and seeing this and how it's needed, it totally makes sense. And the fact that, you're not wanting to reach every investor, right? Like that hits home with me, because I know personally, our group, we want to attract the smart capital and really the good people in the sector, right? We don't want the bad actors. We want to be surrounded with like-minded people. So we have the same approach, quality over the quantity. I could care less about the numbers, but the quality of the people are generally going to make things successful. In terms of a business, yeah, and in terms of a business, it's the team. So seeing the team, the way that it's outlined to me, coming from various backgrounds, financial advisor, different things that are real world life experiences, and when you merge that all together with the passion of crypto, you can really do some solid things. So with that being said, I get it. I see the use for it right now. A lot of people are very excited about this. Go ahead. And so, look, I think it's a good segue into the next part. In terms of FTP, or and not FTP, but level up. Moving forward in the platform. So, what exactly are the economics again?
So our tokenomics, they're pretty modest. We're going with a straight 12% all around tax on it. It's going to be 8% of that tax goes to the Ether reward, which can go to holders, for withdrawing. And then 4% is going to be, the dev tax, which goes to us as a business, which we use for marketing or pretty much anything that we see fit to progress the coin. Fast tracking CMC and CoinGecko, and getting on different exchanges like Hotbit and stuff like that. But at the same time, also doing audits and paying for any future updates that have to be done to the contract, or to make our revenue streams incorporated into the contract. So our total supply for the coin is going to be 100 trillion coins, and of those 100 trillions, we're holding 0% back of that for ourselves, which a lot of coins, they hold back coins for themselves, which hurts the coin, because then to make money off that, I guess what you have to do, you have to sell them off, and a lot of devs don't know how to do that, so then you see those huge red spikes, and they just don't know what they're doing. So we just thought that was a bad approach, and we're just going to stick strictly to that 4% dev tax. 1.5% of the coins are being set aside to the coding team as compensation for their work, and that's actually been negotiated out, and that's actually going to be split up into 3 different wallets, and they're going to be time locked for different amounts of time, so that way they can't just go in and take all 1.5% and tank it down. So like they'll have access to, say, the 0.5%, and then maybe a month or 2 down the road they'll have access to the other 0.5%, and then another 2 or 3 months down the road they'll have access to the next 0.5%. We thought that was good, and actually our dev pushed to have it done that way, because he does believe in the project and he believes in his work, which is awesome to have a developer behind us that believes in it that much, that he was willing to do that and had no problem whatsoever. So, and then we're gonna be aiming for 20 to 25% of the coins to be allotted for the pre-sale. And then
let's talk about the pre-sale just real quick. I noticed that you've broken it down to what looks like, is it 3 tiers? Is that correct?
It's 2 tiers.
Two tiers.
Two tiers. So
Yeah,
we're
can
gonna
you
have
elaborate just a little more on the tier one and then to the tier two and then towards the launch and what that means in terms of where people will start, what we're targeting in those rounds specifically, the types of people, etc. I think that would be very helpful to help us understand more.
sure. Justin, you want to take this one? Or you want me to go for it?
Yeah. So our tier one is going to be, that's kind of like the family and friends round, but also the DeFi Angels. This is what we call our angel round. These are people that we've built relationships with, where we feel like they understand the long-term project and they're not going to instantly dump it. So that first tier is going to start off at a 2.5x multiplier of the launch price, and we're going to do a minimum of 0.25 ETH. That's your buy, and the maximum you can buy in is 2 ETH. And the cap on that is going to be 75 ETH. I think that's what we came up with, or it might have been 100 ETH. But I feel like we're going to blow through that one really quickly. So that's why we came up with the second tier, which is going to be what we call the public sale, which is what we're going to release to our Telegram group. And the reason why we did this is because we don't want people just sniping different Telegram groups and coming in and instantly buying into pre-sales where they're going to make a multiplier and just dump on the coin. I've seen this now being in a couple different coins. The People's Coin is the biggest example that I have of it, where in the People's Coin we raised 850 Ethereum. Day one we had 1,600 pre-sale people in it, and most of them dumped day one because they had a 5x or a 10x multiplier based on the level that they got in. And that hurts the coin because you see this red chart. Nobody wants to jump into something like that. And so what we want to do is create something that, yes, we want to incentivize people for helping us provide the liquidity pool, which is going to give us price stability, but we don't want to give them too much of a markup that it's going to incentivize people to just dump, instantly. And I think that also protects the angel round, that we call it, by having them be much higher. And we're even talking about reducing that second round if we fill up the angel round quickly, moving it down. We originally had a 1.5%. We're thinking of moving it down to just the launch price, which again, because of the amount of attention that we're getting from our group, we feel like getting you at a launch price is going to make you a multiplier anyways, because you literally can't buy a launch price unless you're a bot. And we have the anti-bot software in here. So unless you literally own your own bot, like, you're not going to be able to get to that level. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the angel pre-sale. Again, friends and family, we're talking about 75 to 100 ETH as the cap. And then if we fill that, we'll do a second round, which will be at launch price, most likely. And that way we can get enough liquidity that you won't see, especially you see it in the FTP projects with really low liquidity pools. You see a lot of buys, but once that first sell comes in, that triggers all the reflections on the back end. And for people who don't understand how these projects work, is they eventually have to, in the back end, sell those rewards and give it out. So it triggers on any sells. That's where the ETH comes out, and you'll see like a 0.04 ETH sell, and it like plummets the price if you only have like 1 or 2 ETH in the liquidity pool. So we want to have a really strong liquidity pool so that any sells don't have that. We're also building in the first day protections as well, that if anybody wants to try to jump in on this in the early stages and get in on the block, we've got also buy protections where we're minimizing the amount that they can get in the early stages, but also on the sell side, the first 24 hours is a 25% tax. You want to leave 25%. Like, so if you don't believe in this project and you bought in our pre-sale, like, we're penalizing you from trying to take advantage of us. So again, we're strategizing this around people that actually understand what we're trying to build, the revenue streams that we're building, and the long-term vision of the project.
Very well said again. Yeah. Again, it's, much needed right now in the sector. So that's awesome to hear. And I think, moving forward into, these revenue streams that will be built in to the Level Up token itself and to the overall platform, moving forward, launching the token. And I have to say this also, just drawing back to the pre-sales, I think, given the current marketplace and climate and temperature of investors right now, pre-sales seem to be, where our heads are at, just given the launches and everything that's kind of been going on with gas. Pre-sales seem to be more appealing now, especially, to your more traditional style investor, seeing a family and friends round, seeing this type of seed rounds that we're familiar with, understanding, trading and pricing and all the various skill sets to add into a project's success. I think, it's very attractive to a group like ours, and I'm sure others. So moving forward, as it gets more attractive, the scale out process is something that, throughout this journey of our vetting and our due diligence has really stuck out to me is, you're scaling. And it's amazing to see the partnership with Safe Solidity, whom we are also partnered with, by the way. Fabulous company, really good at what they do. So having that, verification check mark, and also having other projects that are coming onto the platform go through that process is going to be, in my opinion, very, beneficial, not only to the Level Up token and the platform, but also to its investors, right? But also moving forward to, strategic partnerships. That comment earlier really caught my attention. I want to highlight, in any early stage venture or really any early project, it's very prudent to make these partnerships, right? To expand your network and to get in front of other investors, I think is not being done in the space enough. And, if you
100%.
and if you come from a more traditional background, maybe PE or VC, and these things, right? When you develop an early stage company or startup, you want to go out and you want to attach yourself to the biggest brands, the biggest names, and make those partnerships come to fruition, because ultimately that's going to bring the valuation of your company up, and the success rate should be a lot higher with those strategic partners that want, and can increase the likelihood of that entrepreneur's success. So I like to call ourselves, as the Angels, as investors, also those strategic partners as well, because when we do invest, we do like to bring that knowledge and that skill set with our investment, right? So I love this. But moving forward in the scaling process, obviously phase one, right? Launching the token, and that sounds like we're on the right track there. Everything's been moving forward. Safe Solidity is done, signed off on everything. You guys are pretty much ready to move into the pre-sale. Now, looking at the roadmap here, moving into phase 2, 3, and 4 get very, very intriguing to me as an investor, and also makes me very, what they call, bullish in the crypto sector, meaning I want to invest more. So, starting with the phase 2, with the NFT Marketplace, we all understand, NFTs right now are causing a lot of gas issues on the east side.
Yeah,
so
they're the hot commodity right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe just speaking on how that will work with your sister coin ETH2, and also how that staking would work as well in this phase 2 part, I think would be a good start as we walk through this roadmap of scaling.
Yeah, so the NFT Marketplace, we figured that was our first easiest way to bring some revenue, because we've realized that, like, in the altcoin space, that most coins have a lifespan. They hype up for whatever their viability or usage is, and then they die off. Like whether it's a day, 2 days, a week, 2 months, whatever it may be. And the only way to keep the coin price going up, if you're not attracting more holders or more investors coming in, is to bring liquidity into the liquidity pool. So we said, all right, well, the first place we can do is NFTs. Like that's the hot commodity, like I said. And we've already sold a couple of them on the ETH2, marketplace when we launched ETH2. And so that's going to be the first place. The easiest way is to bring in some, NFTs to bring revenue streams into the liquidity pool. The second place that we're working on, this will be, again, what we call phase 3. Again, most of us came from the Pokemon world. That's our mutual connection for the majority of us on this team, is trading cards. And, and what we're going to do is essentially replace eBay in a sense, where we're doing the same exact model as eBay, but instead of paying a fee to eBay, you're going to be able to use your cryptocurrency to buy and sell trading cards. And again, we come from the world of, we've gotten scammed so many times where we've bought and sold Pokemon cards or trading cards, and you get a box that's empty or it's not the right card. And so we've already hired middlemen, what we call them, professional guys that are going to take that fee. Instead of paying the fee to eBay, you're going to pay this fee, and it's going to go to these middlemen. The card is going to get shipped out to those middlemen. They're going to verify that it's the actual product, and they're going to ship it to the final destination and release those funds to the seller. And so we're building out this platform. We're already working on it. We've got, again, this is why I think we've kind of slow rolled our release, because we wanted to get all these things put in place, so that way we can start having these revenue streams instantly injected into this project. So again, our eBay type platform for trading card games, trading cards, is not going to be 6 months or a year from now. It's probably going to be another month or so, but you're going to be able to use either Bitcoin, Ethereum, or our coin to purchase and sell, trading cards. And that's going to bring us revenue streams that we're going to pull right back into the liquidity pool, which is, again, if we don't even bring any more holders or buyers into the level up, is going to push the price up. So if you don't like trading cards or collectibles, you're still going to benefit from it, which, again, if you haven't looked into those collectibles, it's a huge marketplace, and I'm not trying to hype that up, but we're trying to create, again, ways that we can bring more money into it. And then our fourth revenue stream, or the largest level, our phase 4, we would call it, is to bring in a gaming and betting, site into it, where you can go bet on NFL sports, and that gaming book, the profits from that are going to go, again, right back into that liquidity pool. So whether you like to gamble or not, we're bringing revenue streams back into the platform, which is going to help our holders long term.
I love it, because essentially from the tokenomics, you've extracted what you've seen in the overall crypto sphere, is what I call it. What works, right? You've extracted what works, implemented that in your project, and then you said, okay, now let's make it a real business. Let's generate real revenue and pump it back in the liquidity pool. And it seems like to me, you said, okay, token number 1, next NFT hype's going well. We'll get into that marketplace. We can launch that. That's a stream of revenue. Then we move into basically memorabilia or Pokemon cards, anything that represents value to certain people, and it will be verified in a mechanism that is authoritative, right? That checks it and makes sure it is what it says it is, so people are not getting ripped off. That's another stream of revenue. Then moving into probably my favorite part, phase 4, the sports betting, right? I mean, I think that everybody understands, or most people, how big that industry is. as a whole, and how many people actually do gamble. So, for me, and Justin, I know you and I have laughed about this a couple of times, but DraftKings, all these big sites,
Yeah.
where you play fantasy football, they want you to pay in Bitcoin. They want you to extract in Bitcoin. You get all these good bonuses. Well, personally, I was a gambler back in the day, and I did really well. I think it was on Boveda, which allowed Bitcoin. So I ended up, hitting
that was
a lot.
that was my introduction to Bitcoin was Bovada.
Mine was in 2012, actually, from one of my friends that is now at Google, as a matter of fact. But he was the one that introduced me to cryptocurrency. But anyhow, moving fast forwarding to, betting on sports, I think this would have been probably 2015, even 16 when they started rolling out with this. But, we seen it. And of course, like, back then we loved sports, still do. Understand it really well. So we started making, bets here and there, did really well, extracted it, put it in our Bitcoin accounts, and kind of forgot about it, right? And then from there, we watched what Bitcoin did, and it just really elevated, our passion, at least, and my internal friends and network, about the cryptocurrency and how, it was able to work so easy and flush, through the internet. So seeing what you're doing there, I see that as such a potential revenue gainer and stream for the Level Up Token project that we can't even fathom the numbers now. But my question would be, moving throughout, obviously phase one is, we're almost there, at the 1 yard line. Now, phase two, phase three, phase four, do you have a general kind of timeline or maybe runway of when you would like to see these things achieved, or markers for that?
Yeah. So phase two would be the NFT Marketplace. We've already sold a couple of NFTs for Ethereum too when we launched that sister coin as our test coin. That we're just tweaking things a little bit, but that should come within a week and a half of the launch of Level Up. The eBay style auction site. Again, we're working on devs to roll that out, and we're still testing that. We're already in that phase of like moving on to that. That'll take probably, I would say, 2 to 3 months tops. Again, we always want to under promise and overachieve. It could happen quicker than that. The sports booking site, that's going to take a lot of revenue, again, because if we're going to be paying out bets, like, we have to actually pay out the bets, and so we have to have a good reserve based on the percentages that get paid out, et cetera, there. And we don't want to bankrupt the company out of nowhere. So that is probably our six months to a year, I would say, goal for that one. And that's just being highly conservative. And again, all that money is coming from the ETH rewards that we're taking as that dev tax. So the more volume, that could fast track things for sure. But I would say 6 months to 12 months for that phase four.
And great to hear. And that's a very ambitious timeline as well. So, being that I'm going to invest in the project, I would love to, see all these come to fruition. Now after, the road just can't end there, right? I mean, I would imagine if we accomplish all of these things, what would be phase 5, phase 6? We don't know yet, but are the teams, are the team, is the mind of the team in the same places where I'm going with that, in the process of keep scaling it out and adapting to the overall DeFi and crypto, sector?
Of course, we're always we're always ready to pivot and expand, depending on where we see the marketplace, going. And so we have our heads to the ground, and we're listening to what's out there.
cool.
But
Very
but
cool.
I think with again, in the process of replacing FTP, you know, we've built out kind of a secondary business. Again, another revenue stream in a sense is anybody who wants to build out an ETH reward token will probably come to us rather than going to FTP because we're going to charge them less. And again, we're not going to approve everybody because we're going to send them through a highly skilled vetting process. We're going to send them to a group like you guys where we're going to have them do AMAs. We're going to have them, you know, get vetted. If it doesn't pass our sniff test, like, we're going to dive in with Safe Solidity, look at the code. If it doesn't pass that, like, we're not accepting them because we don't want to be FTP. We don't want to be just, hey, anybody can make an FTP token, get ETH rewards, and I don't care if your developer rugs you, which we saw 3 of them this past weekend. Like, we want to partner up with other successful projects. And again, that's going to bring more revenue into our team, which is going to then go right back into the Level Up token. You know, we're gonna funnel that back into the people that brought into us at day one.
Here and again, I can't echo it enough. It's needed, and you know, I am personally so willing, and as an official pick of the DeFi Angels with Level Up Token, I can't be more excited to see this come to fruition and actually see, you know, real projects go to a platform that investors can migrate to and actually feel safe now because, you know, anybody novice coming into this space, you know, maybe seeing that and how the ETH rewards work, but, you know, not knowing what exactly due diligence is going on the back of the house and, you know, who is running these projects is a very big concern. And, you know, that's why our group is very big on, you know, doing our due diligence, putting, you know, companies and projects through the extra loops to see if they make it. It's not just about a sniff test. It's always about to see if we can go that extra mile with that company and that team to see if they're going to be successful. Because ultimately, when I look at projects and everything in this sector, and it even correlates back to my early days in investing, it all comes back to the team. So, you know, I'm a big person on investing in teams. I will be investing in your project. So before I, you know, open it up for questions with our core team and our deal flow committee that's on the call with us today, just for, you know, prospective investors that are maybe listening into this recording, and also for myself moving forward, you know, how do we proceed with buying Level Up and staying in tune for the announcements? Can you just kind of highlight what are the next steps for potential investors to take interest or maybe to take place into these rounds that are upcoming?
Yeah, so the next step is we're actually going to test out our systems. I think we're joking around, even making it called like test token, like literally just to test and make sure all the Ethereum rewards work. It's going to be something where like we're not telling you guys to buy into this thing. Like, don't buy into it if you don't want to. Like, it's really more of like, we're going to fund the liquidity pool. We're going to test the token. We're going to buy and sell with our own money just to literally test to make sure all the functionality works, that our DApp works, everything. We really want to cross all the T's and dot all the I's before we launch Level Up. So we're going to come up with,
I think, being Justin, is testing Unicrypt, which we are actually going to be using Unicrypt,
yes,
making sure all of those
for the
functions
pre-sale
work perfectly, which is a huge one. Being Unicrypt, no private wallets here.
Yeah, so we're gonna do we're gonna test out that once we have everything worked out, and we've even delayed this maybe a week or two. We had one of our lead developers had COVID. He's been in the hospital. He finally got out. Like, it's been a whirlwind. It's kind of funny, like all the stuff we've been doing on the back end. But I'm glad we built in that like delay that we said when we were gonna, you know, eventually lead into. Once we have everything where we are comfortable that everything is 100% to go, we will then we're gonna release the pre-sale to the DeFi Angels and to family and friends at the same exact time. Nobody's gonna get a head start on this. We built these relationships with you guys, and we really love this group, and so we're giving you the first shot at getting into this. Once that pre-sale fills, again, I think it's 100 ETH is the cap. Everybody's 2 ETH per wallet, and once we complete that, then we'll go to the public sale. We'll release it to our Telegram page, which I think we have 650 members. It's really small at this stage because we had a couple thousand, and again, we were supposed to launch this on August 6th, and we lost a lot of people who just didn't see it coming to fruition. We'll release the public sale to them, and then we will announce the contract, everything ahead of time so that people can be ready to go day one when they want to buy if they didn't get in the pre-sale. So we're going to slowly launch this out, but we're not going to drag it out either. It's going to be the pre-sale, and launch is probably going to happen within 7 to 10 days from that date at a maximum.
I copy that. And I mean, for the people that lose out just because, it takes a little longer, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I would rather see, you wait, and exactly what you're doing, testing your actual project before going to market with it also is a great strategy. But, also just listening to you, taking a step back and saying, hey, we didn't meet our marker here, but we're fixing these things. We made some more strategic partnerships. If anything, you're in a better position now to launch than you were back then. So, people need to appreciate that, how entrepreneurs and folks of these projects and these teams take their time and are doing their due diligence so they can have the most successful launch, as into others projects that we see that maybe rush into these things. And, ultimately those don't, go so well. Right?
They spike and dump. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like putting a car out with, we were going to rush this car off the lot, and then it has faulty brake pads. Well, there's a recall. No one wants a recall, especially on something like that important.
100%. Yeah, and it's very frustrating. Yeah, it's very frustrating to groups, especially like us, right? Because we want to get into contact. We like to do the due diligence. I mean, with certain projects, we've done due diligence for months. Some we've done them for weeks, but generally we're not just jumping in. So the fact that we've gotten to circle back with Level Up Token here and really go through everything and see it build up from what it was and to now what it's becoming and what it can be, I think is very exciting, especially for me. And I just want to say that I'm also grateful on behalf of the Angels for allowing and selecting us for that round. I can assure you that our folks that will be in that round are very like-minded and are wanting to see the progress and the success of the project. So you do really have some great humans in this project. And we're very excited to get behind it. So with that being said, Connor, Justin, Hunter, I just really want to thank you for answering my questions. Now, typical rule of thumb, I do love to leave the floor open for my core team and our deal flow committee. So at this time, if anybody does have any questions, feel free to ask. Sounds like Justin, you may want to interject quickly.
No, I said let's go.
Oh, he's ready. Oh, he's calling you guys out now. Okay, well, be careful what you wish for, my friend. We can ask some really good questions. So,
I already know one big question I have lined up ready. I know what's going to get asked, and I have information for it.
Well, do you just want to answer it now for us?
Yeah, I mean, really quickly, I just wanted to touch base too. Adding on, which I think that we might have overlooked, ETH2, which I know is, I get a lot of questions about ETH2. On top of that pre-sale, if you hold the 100 billion ETH2, you're going to get a 10% boost on your pre-sale coins. Okay. As of today, we got information from our developer that they have written the code out and it to be able to stake your 100 billion ETH2 or more for level up coins. So you're just going to, if you hold 100 billion, you get that 10% boost, and then as soon as staking rolls out, which should be hand in hand with the launch, you can then take that 100 billion, stake it right over, and start earning more level up coins. So right there, it's just more ways that we're utilizing ETH2 to say thank you to the community over there. We didn't forget about you guys. We want you guys to be into this project, and we wanted to say thank you. So I just wanted to touch base on that update really quickly for that.
Absolutely. I actually hold ETH2, and for other, investors that are maybe listening, where we're not talking about the real Ethereum 2, so you don't have to have 100 billion of those.
No.
Those right now.
Yeah.
So just for clarification, this will be another project that was a, sister project of the Level Up token.
Yeah.
So
Totally separate project. It was our launch token for another coder that we added to our dev team. And this is just a unique way for us to reward the people that initially believed in us as a team and a project. That hey, if you're still holding 100 billion, Ethereum 2 tokens, you're going to get an extra bump, and you're going to be able to stake those coins. So we're not saying like, hey, go buy 100 billion. Hey, if you want, it mathematically right now at the current price probably makes sense, but as that price goes up, might not make more sense. So we're not saying definitely could do that, but it's just a way for us to incentivize and reward the people that believed in us at the early stage of our project.
very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to the 10% boost. And at that, I would like to open the floor now. So if any of my core team members on the call does have any questions, then we can pass it over to the deal flow committee as well. Feel free to chime in.
I've got a question. So the platform, a couple questions. For the staking, you won't be able to stake unless you have 100+ billion ETH2 coins. And does the 10% bump count for both pre-sale rounds?
Yeah. So
yes,
I believe he put
it will
as
count for
100
both.
billion
It will
minimum.
count for both pre-sales.
Yep.
It'll count for both pre-sales, and the staking mechanism we're working on having it so that no matter how much you have in Ethereum 2, you can stake that for, again, percentage, whatever the APY is for more level up tokens.
Very cool. Michael, are you still there? I think that you're muted now. Did you have any more questions?
Yeah, I'm still here. It said thank you. Appreciate you guys. Can't wait to make this jump with y'all.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And congratulations, Michael, on your marriage. He is a true warrior here today, being on the call. And thank you.
Congratulations.
Definitely. So moving forward, does anybody else on our core team maybe have any questions at this point, or on our deal flow committee?
I have a question, but I was trying to wait to see if anyone else did, so I'll wait a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I just wanted
that's
to
good enough.
touch up on the actual pre-sale. Is this going to be through Unicrypt or?
Yes.
Awesome.
And then what we're going to do on top of that, because the Unicrypt, you can't account for that 10% extra boost for the wallets that do hold the ETH2. Those will all be airdropped. We'll take our time and go through them, and we're going to airdrop those all separately. But your initial pre-sale will be on Unicrypt.
Perfect.
On your white paper, it says weekly giveaways. What type of giveaways would those be if you have any in mind already?
So we've actually already done a few. When we first started, to get the tally hype, I think we've probably already given away like $4,000 or $5,000 in Ethereum. So we were doing contests such as, shilling contests or on for retweeting or bringing people in, just doing contests such as those. But as it gets bigger and, as we roll out our other revenue streams, there'll be giveaways like NFTs, and stuff like that. And, there's plenty of stuff. And then based on just how it goes and like, what's going on, maybe for our eBay style platform, we'll be putting some sort of collectibles up to get it started and get people kind of excited. So that way, maybe, you've never actually gone into the world of collectibles, but then, we put up this card that's worth, a couple $100 and you win it, it might start getting you excited about what's going on. So there's plenty with what we're doing to do, promotions and giveaways and shilling contests and just community outreach in general, is going to be very strong.
Yeah, and I think just to piggyback off that, like a lot of these guys that are part of this team that we have that's 15 strong are admins on trading cards and sports cards collectible groups that have 300,000 plus members, and they've built those groups doing similar types of things where they say like, okay, everybody who invites 5 to 10 people to this group, screenshot me your group and we'll do a random generator and somebody's going to win, a prize. And that's how they've like skyrocketed the groups from 1,000 members to 10,000 to 100,000 members, really quickly. And that's what we want to do is we just want to get as many eyes on us as possible. So we're going to come up with, creative giveaways. And, from the guys in the group, I think we maybe talked about this in our last IMA, like we've got like $2.5 million of disposable cash, like ready to deploy into different advertising, marketing and everything, because again, we're looking at this as a really long-term project. So we're gonna have fun with this along the way, and do different things that are going to be exciting. But that's kind of what we look at is how do we bring more people in? How do we get people to click that invite button or that share button? Like that's the type of things that we're going to do with those giveaways.
Awesome. I did want to ask about the development of, let's see here, the phase one. It says systems. I just wanted to touch up a little bit on the actual progress and how soon we can expect the platform maybe.
Yeah. So once the developers tell us that they're currently going through testing stages right now, and like I said, we're gonna send out our like test token that you might even see it trading in the marketplace. We're gonna do like double checks on top of the checks that they're doing, and once that happens, we'll have the contract which we'll release to the public, and then
we'll our team first.
Yes, that's going to go to them.
Solidity's done. Then that's put it out.
Yes, and then we're going to have our team is going to fast track CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap. We're going to submit audits. We kind of want to have all of those things happen so that like by the time the pre-sales are funded and we're ready to actually put the liquidity into the launch, that all of those things are done. So that like people aren't saying like, hey, are you submitted CoinGecko? Like, oh yeah, we've already been approved. Like we've already been approved with this, like audit's already done. Like we want to have all of that completed like day one. That obviously that's an ambitious goal, but depends on like their traffic and how they can do it. But we've gone through this now with the team that we've had. We've launched a couple coins where we're able to have all of those things line up on launch date. And that's the ultimate goal.
Very good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the answer.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great. Does anybody else here on our team have any other questions for the folks at Level Up Token?
Come on, Kay. I know you got something.
Yeah, she said she was waiting for her last. So I don't know if anybody else has anything else, and we could let Kay ask her a question.
What's your percent APY on the staking? Do y'all know?
So we're still working. We're still working out that number. We don't have an exact answer for that just yet. It's really going to depend on the amount that we pull in through the liquidity pool through the pre-sales for Level Up, and there's some mechanics behind that, but we're going to make it so that it's attractive for people to still have that ETH2 for that APY.
Awesome. And for just anybody that's listening to the recording that would have questions or would want to learn, more about the Level Up token, what would be the best, place to find you guys at?
Probably a Telegram, which we can provide a Telegram link. Also our website link that has most of the information as the white paper lined up. There's two things on there, with the 5% to 0.5% that we're going to have to change, but all the information is outlined there. And you can learn it there. But if you go into our Telly, we're all active on there. Whenever there's a question, we jump right over it. Don't be shy. Come on in. No question's a bad question. So definitely check out our Telegram. We'll have the links if you need them. We can post it in the DeFi Angels project flow or right on the main page. Also, you could search us in the Telegram. We also have Facebook and Twitter. So just reach out however you can, and you'll definitely get a response back from our team.
And the website is what now again? The URL? Just can you tell me?
Yeah, it's a Level Up. It's leveluptokens.com. That's uptokens.com.
Okay, very good. And tokens with an S, right?
Yes.
Got it. Perfect. So leveluptokens.com. Cool. Got it.
Or it might be just token, no S.
Token, no S. So leveluptoken.com.
Yeah, no S.
Okay, cool. Leveluptoken.com. Got it. All right. Thank you for that. And I think this will conclude it. And if anybody have any last questions, feel free to ask now before we part ways with the Level Up team here. I think this might have wrapped it up. Well, I do want to say, Connor, we've stayed connected, and you've been working like a madman on this project, and just want to say, congratulations, and it's not over yet, so I'm not giving your flowers, everybody, to you yet, but you've came, a long way. Everything's looking really nicely. I'm feeling the strategic partnerships. I'm seeing the vision, for the platform, the scaling process, all the way through phase 4. So just super excited to be, selected to be a part of the project in terms of investing in that first round, along with our angel crew here and our family and friends. So really looking forward to doing business and, helping, how we can with the project succeed and growth. So with that being said, I just wanted to say congrats so far, but not getting your flowers yet. Let's get this thing done and keep us in touch, whenever we can get more information on that pre-sale so we can get involved. And from there, I wish you all the best. And again, thank you for hopping on the AMA. You guys answered all the questions that we have here. We're ready to move forward. So we'll leave the ball in your court and we'll wait to hear back. And again, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Thank
Alex.
you for having us. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Talk soon.
All right. Cheers.
Talk to y'all soon.
All right. Bye-bye.